Hello, and thank you for exploring Lakehead International's videos. My name is Jordan, and I am the International New and Social Media Officer. I'm also the host of the Lakehead International Live series, a fun and informative way for you to connect with current international students, professors, and ask questions about admissions and everything Lakehead. You are about to watch a recording from one of our previous live sessions. If any questions arise throughout the video, please do not hesitate to comment below. If you would like to check out some of our upcoming live sessions, please head over to our website at lakeheadu.ca/international-live. Let's begin. And so on that note, it's time to introduce our student panelists. We have many folks here, as I mentioned, from around the world, representing their home country or their program or what might it be. And so first off, I will kick it off. Let me head over to my screen over here. I'll maybe work sort of west to east on the map when you're looking at North America, and I'll kick things off with Carla from Mexico, and then I'll do my best to geographically go east after that.
Hi everyone, my name is Carla and I'm from Mexico, just as Jordan mentioned, and I just finished my undergrad. It's a chemistry major with a concentration in medical sciences, and I finished that at the Thunder Bay campus. And one thing, a fun fact, is that I really like to get involved as much as possible, if it's either in sports or it's just at campus. So I feel like that's really important, and I'm really happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, Carla. So next we actually have two panelists from Nigeria, and so I'll kick it off with Shindara, and then I'll have Jennifer also answer after her.
Hi everyone, good morning, or whatever the time is at your side. My name is Shindara. I'm from Nigeria. I'm in the kinesiology program, the honors in kinesiology. I'm in the Thunder Bay campus, and I've been here for my second year. And a fun fact about me, and maybe Thunder Bay or Lakehead in general, there actually is a huge African/Caribbean student population. And I get to cook a lot of Nigerian food over here, so that's really fun, and I love cooking.
Awesome, thanks Shindara, and I'll pass it over to Jennifer next.
Hi, I'm Jennifer and I'm from Nigeria. I'm in the biology program at Thunder Bay and I just finished my first year. The fun fact about me is I'm very into photography and videography.
Awesome, and I think that Thunder Bay is probably one of the most ideal locations for videography and photography. I think we're a pretty picturesque town or city, as well as Aurelia, of course.
Yeah.
Awesome, so next I'll pass it over to Eileen.
Hey guys, my name is Eileen. I'm at the Aurelia campus and I'm in the second year of social work program. And fun fact about me is that I like also to get involved at the campus. So I'm at the Christian Club as well at the Lakehead Alumni Student Association Board.
Awesome, thanks Eileen. Next we'll pass it over to two of our representatives from India, Mun and Ashvi. We'll kick things off with Mun though.
Hi everyone, it's great to have you all here. My name is Man Koner and I'm from India. I'll be moving forward to my third year of Honors Bachelor's of Commerce. Not sure of the major yet, but I think I will be going with marketing or either human resources. I'm not sure about that. But a fun fact about me is like, I love animals and I love nature. And if you are a nature lover, welcome to Thunder Bay. The Thunder Bay campus and Thunder Bay is just amazing. We have a pretty good nature of both summers and winters, trust me. It's just amazing. You will have a lot of experiences with hiking, skiing, ice skating. We have a lot of things going on in Thunder Bay. So once again, welcome, and I hope we can address all your questions. Looking forward to connecting with you all. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you so much, Man. Next, I'll pass it over to Ashvi.
So hi guys, my name is Ashvi and I'm also from India. I just finished my second year in psychology from the Thunder Bay campus, and a fun fact about me is I love getting involved on campus, and I'm a part of the Lakehead University Lakehead Association psychology students, and I've been on its executive team since I first joined Lakehead, and I am really excited to talk to you all.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. Next, I'll pass it over to Sylvius, and then we'll follow up as east as we can go over with Yichen in China.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sylvius, and I'm from Malaysia in Southeast Asia. And then I just finished my undergrad degree in mechanical engineering with minor in mathematics. Fun facts about me: I like languages. I'm a multilingual person. I fluently speak 6 languages. Thank you.
Awesome. And last but not least, we'll have Yichen join us and introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yichen. I am from China, and I just finished my chemistry program. I'm in the concurrent education program. So I'm going to start my education program this September. Fun fact about me, my passion is on exercising, cooking, and baking. So I love feeding my friends with treats and food that I made.
Awesome. Well, thank you again to all of our panelists for joining us today. I think we have a well-rounded group of students here from many programs, from many countries spanning the entire world. So I'm really excited to sort of dive into those questions. And on that note, my first question sort of is, how did you choose your program? So of course, many of our students on today's call and in the audience either are applicants and have already selected a program, but maybe they're current prospective students and they haven't quite applied yet, but they're considering sort of weighing their options. I'm curious to know what helped you choose your program, or what helped you narrow it down at least to that. So maybe by a show of hands, I can see everyone's video right now. I'll pass it off to whoever would like to start. I'm going to kick things off with Ashvi and then Shindar to follow up after.
So for me, choosing my program at Lakehead, the first thing that I kept in mind was sort of just exploring through my interests, maybe courses that I did in high school, like psychology. I took psychology in high school briefly, and I realized that it was very interesting and appealing to me, and I am a very passionate advocate of mental health, and I sort of realized that that's the way to go, like educating myself before I can raise awareness in other people, and definitely talking to people, reaching out to counselors, seeing how other people chose their programs, informing myself before I took a decision.
Awesome. So obviously, like you mentioned, sort of that importance of reflecting on your passions you had in high school and understanding the courses that you were most excited about, but then also you mentioned sort of speaking with counselors and working that through them and sort of massaging out what was the best outcome, or maybe what the best path moving forward was. So I'm happy you're able to find psychology as your passion program.
Thank you.
Next, I'll pass over to Shindara.
My story is very similar to Ashby. It was basically just working on what I like versus because I feel like the difference in the educational system between how it is over there, like how it may apply here, it kind of matters to me. So I needed to find like the right balance between what actually counted as my biology experience over there and what would count here. And that's how I settled on kinesiology, because I also wanted to do something relating to sports. So yeah, nothing too fancy, sorry.
No, that's okay. I think probably one of the most important aspects of encouraging students to explore our programs and the wide variety of them also comes with the fact that we always encourage students to focus on programs or pursue programs that they are passionate about or they have an interest towards. We understand, of course, as university administrators, that a student who is passionate about the topic they're learning or studying is going to be the most successful because they want to devote more time or they want to really learn or dive into that topic. So I'm glad to hear it was a passion decision. I'm going to put Carla on the spot and I'll ask her sort of about her experience. And then I'm also going to put Sylvius on the spot after this.
Yeah, I think I did something similar. I think I went like I thought about like the bigger picture. So I knew that I wanted to do something related to chemistry, but I wasn't really sure on what I wanted to kind of like minor or like what concentration. So again, I kind of did that going into like the broader, like the branch tree, saying like, okay, I want to do chemistry, and then kind of narrow it down to being like, okay, yeah, I want to do something that it's related to this program or this concentration. That's kind of like how I narrow everything down. But I also think that it's very important to choose or make a decision that you could kind of play with it a little bit, like back and forward. So again, kind of choosing something that you know and that you're passionate about, like from the beginning, and then kind of changing, because you could change your way of thinking as you go through the program. And I mean, that's totally fine. It happens. But again, just again, kind of choose something that you know that you could kind of play with it. And again, if you know that you could take a minor, you could also take something that it's completely opposite to what you major. And again, that's also totally fine. Exactly. So yeah, I would think probably the best like recommendation is just like not sticking to just one thing. Again, I feel like that's one of the advantages at least with the programs, is that you can kind of go or choose other courses or other things from other programs. So I feel like that's kind of playing around with your program and then just kind of fitting it to what you're passionate and what you like.
Certainly. I actually have a good example of that. We have a global ambassador student who was entering her third year of applied life sciences here at Lakehead University, and recognized that maybe that program wasn't for her, wasn't where her passion lied anymore. And so she just recently joined and started her first year of nursing. And so after 2 years of study in one undergrad, she said, you know, this isn't for me. And she recognized that early on in the sense of her degree. And so she moved over to this new program. She'll be able to use some of those past credits to apply towards her final nursing degree, but she sort of went and said, you know, this is where my passion lies. So it was great to see her find that journey. Similar to how, Carla, you mentioned that you're able to decide after actually joining Lakehead what you wanted to concentrate or focus in after you had been involved in the studies or had hands-on experience at least. Awesome. So next I'll put Silvius on the spot. I would love to hear how he chose his program a few years ago.
Thank you. It's like I do have a big picture. Like I would like to be involved in aerospace like sector. So the most related engineer that I can get from Lakehead is mechanical engineering. And then I did my degree project like last 2 semesters. I'm being involved in like aerodynamics team. So it requires like about a lot of like fluid mechanics, fluid dynamics, which I'm very passionate on. And then I do take a minor in mathematics because like I just really need one courses to done for the minor of mathematics, and some engineering just apply it and then you get a minor. However, we have a lot of like elective courses. So I can like, because I'm passionate like in international relation and language stuff, so I took like politics science for my elective. So I found like, okay, not only like I'm passionate in mechanical engineering, but I also passionate in other things. So it's actually quite like Lakehead quite give kind of option that you can take. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, we like to say that you sort of can customize or pursue your own passions within your degree. So whether or not you're pursuing a mechanical engineering degree, but on the side your passions also fall within social sciences and humanities, you can take elective courses and having that mixed degree. So whether you graduate with your mechanical engineering, but you have a bit of background in some business courses or even some health sciences courses, it really allows you to customize and pursue your own passion. So on that note, I think I'll go on to the next question. And I'm curious to know from our student panelists, sort of, as you joined Lakehead over the past couple of years, what was your first truly Canadian experience? So once you actually reached Canada, once you're able to settle down, what do you think was your first truly Canadian experience? So I'm going to pass it over to each hen first this time. I'll put her on the spot, and then if anyone else wants to follow up, please just raise your hand after that and I'll point to you or call on you.
So my experience that's considered as Canadian, I suppose it's outdoor because it's summer right now, and exercise is like my daily routine. So I really like to go jogging outdoors, like across the campus. I'm in Thunder Bay, by the way. And then I really like to biking. So I like to go from my home to Boulevard Lake, go around and then go back. It's around 19 kilometers long for an hour, which is really fun. I get to see the lake and then the trees, especially when the weather is really nice. And then it's so relaxing. Also, it helps my well-being.
Awesome. I think just to sort of giving our audience members who haven't had the ability or haven't been able to join us here in Thunder Bay or really giving you a picture of sort of our campus communities and the places we call hometowns. Essentially, when you think of Canada, you probably consider, a very large country that's vast and open and filled with nature and hopefully amazing people too. With that being said, being able to say that Thunder Bay and Orillia offer those experiences like none other. And so whether you're going into a major metro area, of course, you're going to have your downtown cores, your busy city centers, your traffic, all that sort of stuff. But then coming to Thunder Bay or Orillia, where you have access to any one of those basic amenities and more, but you also have access to nature and you can connect a bit better. So and your mention of Boulevard being a lake actually sort of in the middle of our city, and just biking across town, doing 19-kilometer round trip, that's pretty impressive, I might say myself. But being able to sort of unwind and focus on your own well-being or your own mental health for that time frame is really important. Of course, you need time to not also necessarily only do academics. There has to be a bit of me time worked in too.
Yep.
Awesome. So next I'll pass over to Mun to share her truly Canadian experience.
Thanks, Jordan. My Canadian experience would be ice skating and skiing. Ice skating right on campus. So I'm a student from Thunder Bay, and if you are planning to come to our Thunder Bay campus, it's gorgeous. I mean, we have a lake right inside our campus. It's called Lake Tamlin, and during the winters, it's all frozen and we can do ice skating there. I know back in India, I did ice skating. I just love skating. So I think ice skating was the first experience. For the first few days, it wasn't nice because I couldn't balance at all. But then I think through the practice, I think it was just a beautiful, amazing experience just to ice skate. And when it's on campus, I think it's much more special because you really don't have to go anywhere. You just get your skates and just do your ice skating. And the second would be skiing. I had never done skiing in my life before. So I think it was like from Lakehead University. I think there was an event or something, and we could just buy tickets. It was just hardly like $10 or $20. And then Lakehead University took us to Mount Baldy or Mount Badley. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it incorrect. But it was a beautiful, it was filled with snow, obviously, because it was winter. And then we did ice tubing, I guess, and skiing, and not a good experience because I didn't ski before. But I mean, I almost fell for like 10 times, but amazing. I mean, I just think of it and I was like, wow, I just want to go back and do it again. I mean, it was so beautiful. So if you are looking to come to Thunder Bay, I think you're going to have a lot of chance to, just experience the Canadian experience. In summers also, it's amazing. You can go up hiking. We have Sleeping Giant, and I think the biggest Lake Superior. And it's so beautiful in summers and both in winters.
Awesome. On that note, I have a question from an audience member who is joining from Nepal. So I know that Nepal and India geographically are similar locations, but India is quite tall. And so weather can vary depending on where you are in India. I'm curious, how are you able to adjust to the cold environment of Canada? And they said, how are we going to feel weather the difference between Nepal and Canada? So maybe you can relate to that situation. How was your adjusting to the weather between India and Canada, which also is a significant change, of course?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had this mindset, oh my God, it's gonna be minus 30, minus 40. How I'm gonna manage? Because in India, the the place I belong from, it's really, really hot. I mean, over here right now it's 40 degrees or something. So it's like a hot weather over here. Although we have winters as well, but not as chilly as Canada, obviously, because it goes like minus 30 or minus 40. So my mom and I, we were really worried about me because, oh my God, if I fall sick or if I'm not able to manage. But I think it was nothing like that. If you are like full on with your clothes, if you dress up properly, you have your mitts on, you have your cap, you have the jacket, I think it's totally manageable. I would like to tell you, everyone, just don't panic about the weather. It's going to be manageable. And for me, it wasn't too hard. I mean, I was just enjoying it, and luckily it went like everything went well. I mean, because I was like, okay, if I have to take care of myself, I have to dress up well and according to the weather. So just don't go like, okay, I can manage this in a t-shirt. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be chilly and you have to be prepared for it. And if you are, just need not to worry. It's all going to be fine. So yeah, I mean, it was manageable. And if you are coming, you can manage it as well. It's not pretty hard.
For sure, yeah. And something that we always sort of like to recommend or make joke of essentially is that whether you're joining us from India, Nepal, or any country that is of a warmer climate that doesn't typically have a winter with snow, when you're preparing for your journey to Thunder Bay or Canada in general, don't go to a local store and buy a winter jacket or a full jacket. It's not graded for a Canadian winter. And the messaging essentially is that when you join us here, like Mun said, is the weather is different. We have an amazing summer, a very beautiful summer. It's quite hot already here in May in Thunder Bay, but when we get into the winter months, it does get cold, of course, but dressing appropriately, whether it's putting on that extra pair of mitts, throwing a scarf around your neck, or putting a hat on, making sure your jacket's done up, all those little details can keep you warm and protect you on the winters, and it is manageable, of course. I see Carla is also gonna jump in here, so whether it's about weather or a truly Canadian experience, I'll pass it over to her.
Yeah, it's something similar about the weather. And I also come from like a country that it's really, really warm. So again, even like the first time I saw snow, I was like, oh my God, it kind of really hit me. I was like, yeah, I'm in Canada now. So it was like a shock. But yeah, going back to the question, I would say that kind of you have to make mistakes in order for you to learn. So of course, you're going to have an experience where you're going to be extremely cold because you didn't prepare yourself, or how they always tell you, like, wear as many like layers as you can. And I didn't do that at the moment. So there was a time where I was like extremely cold and I didn't even have a jacket or anything. And that was the moment that I learned. And I was like, yeah, I mean, if they're telling me or kind of giving me some suggestions on what I could do, I'm going to start doing them. And it's also really true about that the things that probably they are in the country doesn't necessarily mean that they are adequate or that they will help you with the weather in Canada. So yeah, I would say that even if you try to prepare yourself as much as you can, sometimes you can't bring everything that you want to or what is going to help you in Canada. So I would kind of suggest just preparing yourself with whatever it's here, like in Thunder Bay or in Canada, it doesn't really matter. But just again, kind of getting ready. Don't wait until the last moment and like until winter to be like, yeah, I need to start like having all this attire and having winter boots and mitts. Like, don't wait until the last moment. And it will get to a point when you'll be able to adapt. Your body will adapt to the weather and you're not even going to be able to tell when that happened. Because again, it's not going to go like from 10 or -1 to -40 immediately. It's going to happen like gradually. So again, it's going to get to a point where it's going to be like, oh, it's -40 and you'll feel it, but it's not going to be as harsh as you would think it will be at the beginning. So I think that will be my advice.
For sure. And something to note on that is, of course, -40 is sort of our go-to terminology in sense of that's probably one of the coldest possible days that we could have, but those are more spaced out. They're not the entire winter is not that period where they're kind of sporadically with the wind chill, you know, they'll happen once every once a week sort of thing, or maybe a span of a bad weather storm. But with that being said, then the winters can actually be also quite mild, and especially if you're getting outdoors, going and skiing like Mun did, or if you're going hiking or snowshoeing, you can be out and enjoying the sun, which is also helping you stay warm. I'll pass over to Shindara first, and then we'll follow up with Eileen, and then we'll move on to some audience questions after that.
The reason why I wanted to talk is because my experience was very similar to Man and Carla's story about because I remember the very first time I came here, I remember orientation, and I remember you, Jordan, specifically asking everyone to layer up and the penguin walk and basically, you know, scarves and oven mitts. I remember someone having to come out dressed up and everything. And you see, you kind of take it for granted until you do it. But I was really prepared on a particular day, and it was a horrible snowstorm. And I went looking for houses because I was trying to move off campus. And then it was like knee-high snow. And then, I don't know, at some point we got really tired of walking. We decided to just fall in the snow and make snow angels. And that was the first time I'd been here, like, I think that was my 5th month over here. And I decided to make snow angels in the middle of a snowstorm with like a knee-high snow. And it was so fun and so relaxing. And I remember posting that everyone was like, oh my God, you're going to catch a cold. And I was totally okay with it. And I was like, yeah, I'm Canadian now. I'm so cool with the weather. And now like we have this running joke between myself and like a couple of friends where once it's like anything above -10, so like between -1 to like -9, we like just go out in shorts and like we can handle it, right? If it's not anything less than -10, we're good, we're chill. But yeah, it's summer right now, and then it's so hot. Everybody's getting a fan right now, and it's crazy. It's not even up to like 22 degrees, and it's hot. So there's the perfect balance for everything.
Yeah, I think that connects back to what Carlo was saying about how students acclimatize quite quickly to their hometown or wherever they're living in. So students that may join us from India, where some of the hottest days can become 55 degrees Celsius, and then they've done a winter here in Canada, or they've done a spring, summer, fall, that sort of thing. And then in our summer, where our days, you know, reach 35 degrees at the hottest possible, they're also like, where's my fan? I need AC, I need air conditioning. One thing to note on weather is an important sort of mention. All of our campus buildings are fully weather controlled. So they're sealed, all that sort of stuff. So we have heating, cooling, all that sort of stuff, except in our residence, of course, we have fans, we don't have AC, but that's not typically a big concern or a big issue. So I'll pass over to Eileen, and then we'll go to the audience for some questions.
So what I want to answer was the truly Canadian experience.
Awesome.
So my first experience would be, I went to my first ice hockey game. So which is very popular in Canada. So I recommend everyone to go. I got the tickets from Lakehead, so I was able to go with my friends from Lakehead, and Lakehead provided bus for us to go, so which was easy and I didn't have to find anything. So definitely ice hockey, you have to visit that.
For sure, yeah. And like on the Thunder Bay campus, you're Eileen on the Aurelia campus, but on the Thunder Bay campus, we also do something similar where we have our students bussed over to the Fort William Gardens here in Thunder Bay, and we actually rent out an entire section of seats for our residents, students to join and participate and cheer on their fellow ThunderWolves and their athletes. So on that note, I'm just going to head over to the Q&A here and read through some of these questions. All right. Oh, this is a good one. So I'll pass this one to maybe Jennifer or Shindara. It says, are there any Nigerian restaurants in Thunder Bay? If there's not necessarily a restaurant, can you share sort of, have you been able to find some spices or some of the typical items that you would find back in a home grocery store here in Canada, in Thunder Bay specifically?
Yeah, so when I just got here, because I really love Nigerian food, and it was really hard like finding the spices and stuff to cook. But then there's this girl, Bright. She has like Bright's Kitchen, and she basically sells a lot of Nigerian food on her like own. And then there's also like an Asian grocery store where you can get a few like kind of African cooking items, kind of, but like it's similar. But if you're looking to get like Nigerian food and stuff, I'll definitely say you should check out Bright's Kitchen. She sells a lot of Nigerian stuff. Like
Awesome.
honestly, adjusting to like the different food and all, because I really love Nigerian food. Like, and I always go to Shindara's place to eat because she cooks like banging Nigerian food. So it's like, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and Bright is actually one of our global ambassadors here at Lakehead University. So I've worked with her quite a bit, and she shared her passions for cooking. That was actually sort of how she got really busy at the beginning of COVID, when you weren't supposed to leave your home and you were sort of confined to your own space. And she just really dove into the cooking. And since then, in 1 year, she's done quite a bit with Bright's Kitchen. So it's great to see her finding and pursuing those passions here in Thunder Bay. So just going through a few more questions here. Chen, I won't put you on the spot to answer it live, but there's a Q&A that asks you about your program. So I'll ask you to head over there and answer behind the scenes. With that being said, I'll go into the next question. I'm curious to know what at Lakehead has helped you build a home away from home. So of course, you've left your hometown, your home country, and many relationships, and finding something to substitute that, or not necessarily substitute or replace those, but to aid in building your own network here in Canada. What has helped you do that? So maybe I'll pass it over to Ashvi and then Chen.
So since the time I accepted my offer, I was regularly in touch with the team at Lakehead. They were guiding me through my visa process, through like small questions like what to pack. And when I got here, the first thing that was really helpful was the orientation that was held, because it addressed almost every aspect of our moving, about staying in Thunder Bay, about resources like grocery stores, maybe helplines that we can reach out to, cab numbers and everything else. So that was really helpful. And what really helped me make my first set of friends at Lakehead was the peer mentor program that I was a part of, in which like current or two current Lakehead students are sort of grouped up with a group of new students, and they are in touch with us regularly. And again, any small or big question that we have, they answer, judging with their own personal experiences. And we went on a field trip together to the Kakabeka Falls. I think that was my first truly Canadian experience as well, and that's where I actually made really good friends that I still count on. So yeah, that helped me build my home here in Canada away from India.
Awesome. Yeah, and the peer mentor program is open to all incoming new international students. So whether you're an undergrad or a graduate student, it's open to you. And like Ashley mentioned, you're paired with a senior international student or a senior student at Lakehead University, and they help guide you in those first few weeks and first few months, as well as before you even arrive. They'll start that communication and connecting you, so you feel like you have a go-to resource. Of course, international student services, so we are our advisors and staff members. You may have met them on previous webinars, both in Thunder Bay. Of course, they're always open and willing to answer questions and meet with you to help you in that experience. But with that being said, of course, we know that sometimes asking a fellow student who's done the journey, maybe they've done it a few years ahead of you, it sometimes is easier to connect with them. So next I'll pass it over to Chen and then Mun to follow up.
So because of Lakehead, I get to know lots of amazing friends, co-workers, and then my profs. And then basically my everyday interaction with them has made up my daily life. And also because of my friends and co-workers, I get to know amazing places to get ice cream, to get cake and treats. So, and also grocery shopping. I know where to get my go-to spices and food. And then, yeah, all those little things just made up my life in Thunder Bay. So it made my home away from home.
Awesome. I know Yichen, we've worked together for quite a bit of years now, and I always see on your Instagram your posts of cooking food from back home, and the meals and the desserts and treats are quite elaborate typically, and you've spoiled us in the office with bringing some of those treats in. So I look forward to returning to campus in the near future and hopefully having some treats on the table for us.
Same here.
Awesome. So next I'll pass it over to Mun.
Thanks, Jordan. I would like to focus more on peer mentor program and other programs available for students just to have better connections and meet other students. There are current students and students joining in. So if I would probably recommend, and my advice to future students is that you will love it at Lakehead University because there are so many opportunities where you can connect with other students from your home country and from other countries as well. So I would recommend you to put an eye on your emails, which include all the programs where you can participate and connect. Peer mentor program is one of them. It's an amazing program. You can have a lot of fun activities over there. You can connect with other students, and also current students like us can guide you with any questions, concerns you have. I know always emailing someone is a bit hectic, and you would like some informal talks as well. So we are there, like we can connect with you, guide you with any questions you have. And also for students from different countries, I know that a lot of students from India, they worry about, oh, if I'm going to get groceries in Canada. Yes, you can. We have Walmart, and there's a whole different section of Indian food. You can get Indian spices, you can get Indian pulses, you can get rice, anything you want, you can get it there. So need not to worry about the grocery stuff. You will get it, everything. We have Indian restaurants in Thunder Bay as well. So you can go out and have some Indian food also if you would like. And yeah, so just keep an eye on your email and make sure to make good connections, because you can survive on your own, but then again, what's the meaning of coming to an international university if you just want to be alone? I mean, it's better to make connections sooner than later.
Awesome. I couldn't have said it better myself, and something I always encourage our students and viewers to do is always check their email, stay out informed. There's plenty of opportunities like events or groups or clubs that you can join and start participating in even before you come to campus, but of course also the important academic side of meeting registration dates, knowing when you can get your courses aligned, all that sort of stuff is communicated through your email. So thank you for mentioning that and reminding me. The next question is, how do you get involved in student life? And so the photo on the right is actually from one of our multicultural days hosted by LUSU, the Lakehead University Student Union. So Lahama is actually the president of LUSU now, and she is a global ambassador as well. So I've worked with her quite a bit, but she was proud to represent Pakistan and share sort of their culture and their food. And so I'll pass it over to our panelists again by a show of hands. Who would like to share sort of maybe what clubs or sports or recreational teams they've been involved in to get involved in what we like to refer to as student life? So I'll pass it over first to Shindara.
I don't remember who mentioned it, but I think it's very important to check your emails. Like emails will have you like knowing everything that's happening in the school, which even clubs you never like knew existed, you will find out they're having events based on the emails, and that's like super important because you can just show up last minute and like be there and be part. And then Lakehead has a lot of clubs. I think they have over 70 clubs, like clubs relating to the sports you're interested in, or clubs relating to your program. Like I'm a member of AFCASA, and I'm also part of, which is the African Caribbean Student Association, I believe. And you're actually the members are few in number, those are registered, but like when we're hosting events, you see like every single Nigerian and African, everyone just shows up, and it's very exciting because, you know, who doesn't want to try African food? We even have like, you know, non-African, just everyone just coming, you know, to try food. And whenever they're, you know, having any event at the international center, in the international office, I show up because I like to try different foods and experience different cultures. Like the Wali, like you have different issues happening for Indians and for Asians everywhere. It's fantastic. But yeah, and there's always something you can fit into. Even like my first year, I remember I didn't really know where I wanted to be in, but I would see programs or I'd see like little posters, or I have friends say, okay, let's go over to this, and I actually would go and have so much fun. And yeah, you just get to do a lot of practical work, like the School of Kinesiology. I help them with a lot of like webinars that they have in, which involves like, okay, trying to convince domestic students to come to kinesiology, and I love doing that. Like that's why I'm here right now, trying to convince y'all to come here. But yeah, so there's always something that everybody can fit in, and it works for everyone. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Next, I'll pass it over to Ashley, and then we'll have Mun follow up.
So for me, when I first accepted my final offer, the Department of Psychology sort of emailed us, some housekeeping items and ways to get involved. And they first told us about the Psychology Club, the Psychology Association of Lakehead students. And I sort of really liked their agenda and how they functioned, and I joined the club. And then I got in touch with their president, and she asked me if I wanted to be a part of the executive team. And I think that was the first thing that really I feel like the encouragement and it really helped me build confidence to get involved on campus and expand my skill set just outside academics. And I think that I was the youngest on the team back then, and everybody was just so welcoming, and it really helped me understand that maybe getting involved is something that really interests me and really motivates me. So that was how I started getting involved on campus to the club.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. So next I'll pass over to Mun, and then we'll have to go on to the next question, just being mindful of the time.
Okay, yeah, I will add something really quickly over here. Getting involved in student life is the most common questions we get. I mean, like it's summer and I know it's hard to connect and make those connections online. We will be having online everything online for the summer. Hopefully we can be back in person in the fall, but we don't have the news yet. But for the summers, I know I am one of the international student assistants, and we're going to be hosting a lot of events starting this week. So I would encourage you all to start getting involved and start making connections from now, just so that when you are back in Thunder Bay, or if you're arriving in Thunder Bay for the first time, you will have a kind of a backup support, because it's still the pandemic going on, and you never know what kind of difficulties you are facing and what kind of hardships you're going through. So it's always better to have some friends, and you can make friends. Definitely there are opportunities, and these events are the ones where you can make connections with the students and also with the current students like us. So I'm going to keep repeating this again and again. It's really important to make connections, and you can do it from attending the events. So just check your email. Starting this week, we are going to be hosting a lot of events, so make sure to attend that, and also you can get some prizes as well. So yeah.
Awesome. Sounds like it's going to be a exciting summer filled with events. I know that there's lots in the works for incoming students to help them feel a bit more connected. But of course, just as a note, if you're a current student or if you're an applicant, if you want to join any one of our sessions, please let us know. Almost all of our sessions are open to the general public or Lakehead community. And although maybe you're not technically a current student because you haven't started and it's not September week, the first week of September, we'd be more than happy to have you join and learn in that webinar, that environment. So on that note, we'll go to the next question. This is a question for my panelists who have lived on residence. What has been your favorite experience while living on campus residence? And so maybe I'll pass it over to Eileen first, and then I'll only have time for one person in Thunder Bay.
So one of my favorite experiences that living on res was it made my transitioning to Canada easier. And also the residence was close to the campus. So because of that, I don't have to use the bus. And I also didn't know how to use the bus. But then after I met friends. They taught me how to use the bus and helped me with everything else and made me settle easier. So living on residence is definitely a must if you're new.
It's certainly something that we recommend for students when they first join us here in Canada. Of course, the transition and sort of acclimatizing to a new environment, it can be challenging, and we're always looking for different ways to support you. But we know that a residence goes above and beyond with additional support services and access to 24/7 advisors or residence assistants. And so with that being said, we always encourage, at least for your first year, once you're sort of getting used to your city or new hometown, it's the perfect opportunity for you to do that in a safe and convenient space. So I'll pass over to Carla, and then we'll go on to the next question.
Okay, so yeah, I think living on res, like the first year, really helped me to kind of connect with other people, especially because they had a lot of activities, like I think not every week, but at least like once a month, we would have activities like going to a hockey game or going to like a hiking place. So I feel like they would have a lot of different events in order for us to not only connect to the people that you're living with, like on the apartment, but also with other apartments and also with other residencies. So I feel like that's one of the biggest like advantages of living on res. And also they had res sports that I think it's every weekend. And again, you also get to play sports, you get to connect with more people. So I feel like there are a lot of ways that you could connect with other people on res, but I feel like it's more of putting that effort and the time. And also like, it is challenging. Again, you kind of come from a different country, you have different relations. It's different to sometimes connect or hard to connect with other people. But I feel like if you put the time, the effort, and you put like the mindset of, you know what, like this is it, I'm going to meet more people today, I'm going to do the effort. Even though I'm a shy person, or like, even though I don't want to connect with other people, I'll make the effort. I feel like that's enough for it to happen. It would happen spontaneously somehow, the circumstances, the event, but it would happen.
Awesome. And on that note, there's one question in our Q&A. It says, from a student, I want to reside on Lakehead dorm. How do I proceed for residence booking? Can you help me with the last days of booking it? So for any of our applicants right now who have a current offer to Lakehead University, that's the important aspect. You must have an offer to Lakehead University in order to apply to your residence. Once your offer is on our system on your MyInfo account, you'll then be eligible to apply for residence on your MyInfo account. Whether you're living on Aurelia campus or the Thunder Bay campus, depending, of course, where your program is offered, then it's important to then fill out the application accordingly. Thunder Bay has a few different housing options, whereas Aurelia has a single option. And so I encourage you actually to join us on Tuesday, May 25th at 9 a.m. And that's in 2021. For those that may be watching this as a recording, you can join us for our residence and dining session where we're going to walk through that online application, but also chat a bit more about the benefits of living on campus, as well as the different options on our Thunder Bay campus. So on that note, an important question I always like to hear is about sort of what is the most exciting aspect of your program? So whether it's the hands-on learning, whether it's maybe a placement or the co-op option. I'll pass it over to Shindara, because I know in kinesiology, from what I've heard, at least from my friends who have graduated, it's quite a hands-on program, and there are lots of different additional or experiential learning aspects to it. So I'm interested to hear what your take is on this.
Yes, it has been interesting. My first year, second semester, we got to work with actual, real life people, and we got to practice everything we kind of learned, performing exercise, training on them, and working out an exercise schedule for them. And the best part was getting to work with newborn babies, because we had to test their reflexes, and it was so fun because we had it was stress. We had 3 babies all trying to juggle in a group of 4 people, and once they start crying, it doesn't end. But it was so exciting because you realize that this is what I get to do in real life, and it kind of because everybody's kind of unsure by the second semester. First semester you're in the mood, but by second semester you start to contemplate, should I drop out? Should I change my program? And I think that kind of sealed it for a lot of my class, like a lot of my course mates. We were all like, we love doing this, and it was really fun. And I know next year we get to do a lot of placements, and there are definitely a lot of opportunities for kinesiology students out there. Like, you get to, what I'm excited about is working with the actual sports teams as a, physiotherapy assistant. And fingers crossed I get that job, because I would love to do that. I want to coach the teams and everything. I help them in fitness training. So that's one of the opportunities kinesiology offers out there. And there are a ton of chiropractor office clinics over here in Thunder Bay. So you also get to work at try your placement out in those kind of places, and the opportunities are endless.
Awesome. Yeah, and I know that we're actually really proud that Lakehead University is one of very few universities in Canada that offers a paid co-op opportunity for that program. But of course, on top of that, whether you want to do the co-op or not, you also have all of these placement opportunities or experiential learning opportunities through practicums and placements. Yi-Chen, I'll pass it over to you to share about your favorite aspect of your program, and then we'll go to the next question.
Yep. So I'll start this sharing by talking about my fourth year thesis. It was a lot of work. So after starting my thesis for 1 or 2 months, I just realized that lots of labs and write-ups I did during my second year and third year is actually helping us to prepare for our thesis. Because of all those experiments that I did, it helped me to design my own experiments. And also writing lab reports requires to do research online. So I started with websites, but gradually we are required to find scientific papers. And in the thesis, I did lots of researches on scientific papers, so that really helped me to be prepared. And we also have resourceful instruments in our department, which it'll help you to learn everything by hands-on. If we don't have those instruments, we have to learn everything by mind, by thought, which is not so good. And then for our profs, we have fields on computational chemistry, med chem, biochem, all those topics students might be interested in. And yeah, so I really enjoyed my program, and I'm glad that I did my thesis with my favorite prof.
Awesome. And I'm happy to hear that you enjoyed that hands-on learning aspect within your program. Of course, like you mentioned, instead of maybe reading theory or reading procedures, by visualizing or thinking how it's done, you actually get to be involved in using those technologies and instruments within your study and your program specifically. So another question here is, how do you spend your free time in Aurelia or Thunder Bay? So I'm curious, sort of, how do you unwind each? And I know you mentioned you go to Boulevard and whatnot, so I'll pass over to another student. Maybe I'll kick it off with Eileen to share what you like to do in Aurelia, and then we'll have one student in Thunder Bay share what they like to do on their free time.
So I lived in Aurelia only for 3 months. So I joined last year and on January. So pandemic hit March, it hit on March. So I just spent most of my time in res, going to the cafeteria or going to the study room. I just spend my time there, just talk to my friends. That's what I did most of the time.
Fair enough. Yeah. And did you have an opportunity to go to any of the local coffee shops or restaurants in Aurelia?
Oh yes, I did do that. I went to a lot of coffee shops in Aurelia. I was able to go, and I did go to Walmart. I was able to go to Walmart and shop a bit, and yeah, that's all I did.
Awesome. Yeah, I know I've been to Aurelia only once myself, last year, right before COVID as well, probably right when you joined as a student. I'm on the Thunder Bay campus, for those of you who don't know, so I actually got to experience some of those restaurants and coffee shops, and I love Aurelia personally. So I think it's a great city to be a student in and get that experience and get a Canadian experience, with that being said. I will pass it over maybe to Jennifer. I'm curious to see how you spend your free time in Thunder Bay so far.
So like I said, I'm really into photography. So usually like I find cool spots in Thunder Bay, and there are a lot of cool spots in Thunder Bay, like a lot of really nice aesthetic kind of like buildings. And most of the buildings I feel in Thunder Bay, they look kind of historical. Like I'm not really sure if they are, but they look really good. So if you're into those types of things, like you would really enjoy like coming over to Thunder Bay. And then I also like I love going out. Like honestly, with the pandemic, we can't really do a lot of that. But when I get the opportunity, like I just love going to different places. Sometimes I'll go to the park or like go to like the lakeside and all.
For sure, definitely. I think there's a lot of picturesque place on campus, but also within our community here in Thunder Bay where you can sort of pursue that passion of photography. So I know that we have a few more questions to get through and we're approaching 10 o'clock. We've just gone past it slightly. So if any of our panelists have to drop off, since I had you booked only until 10 essentially, thank you again for joining us. Thank you to our audience for joining us if you have to head out too. We'll try and wrap up these last few questions and then take a few more audience questions and then we'll wrap up the whole session. So in your opinion, what is the best thing about Lakehead University? I'll pass over to Carla first and then Ashvi to follow.
I think one of the most important assets of Lakehead is the community. Again, I feel like if you're looking for any sort of support, it means like all support. I mean, not only academic, but if you're struggling, because again, it's also hard for you to kind of just go to school. First of all, like school is hard. It is hard. I mean, again, if you're not used to learning everything in English, now you kind of have to adapt, kind of wrap around your head about thinking just in English. I mean, everything's in English. I mean, that's hard, of course. But also if you need any sort of support, any help, like if you're struggling, I feel like that's one of the advantages of Lakehead. Like there's a big community behind Lakehead, and that they're always willing to help you no matter what you need or what you ask. And I feel like that's the important thing, that you need to have that ability to reach for someone if you're not comfortable, if you're not feeling well. I feel like that's kind of the first step. I mean, if you're not feeling well, then talk to someone. And again, I'm pretty sure that anyone at Lakehead, they're going to be able to help you no matter what.
For sure. And being that smaller campus community, I feel like making connections with people is significantly easier because your classrooms, as we say, 90% of your classes are going to be less than 60 students, and 60% of your classes are less than 30. And so being able to connect with peers that can support you maybe in academic senses, or also just having a network to follow on and support you if you fall on hard times is really important. And also all of our advisors in all of our departments, no matter if it's international specifically, or your program chair, or maybe one of our other departments for services, Student Success Center, there's different areas where you can access and get the help that you need, but also get additional resources to succeed within your program and academically. So with that being said, just noting that we're so close for time, I would love to get to this question because I think it's so important for you to share sort of your advice for future ThunderWolves. And so I'm going to pass it over first to Ashvi. Ashvi, what is your advice for future ThunderWolves joining Lakehead University?
I would say that what helped me the most, and I would tell you guys the same, that do not hesitate to reach out to people. There are so many resources at Lakehead. There are so many people who are willing to share their experience or guide you step by step. And I think do not hesitate to contact them. Do not hesitate to put forward your case. I think that's the first step to getting involved on campus, getting to know resources that can help you make your transition easier to university life.
For sure. And I think that today's webinar and everyone's participation is a testament to that, and the fact that you're willing to share your experience and your journey to Lakehead to help other students sort of navigate the similar journey. I'll pass it over to Yi Chen for her advice as well, and then Carla.
So one most important thing that I find during my study is don't get too attached to study. Like there is a life after study. So whenever you feel you are too exhausted, you can shut the door in your mind to study. Like I'm done with you just for now, and then go do something else. Like either do a little karaoke in your room or have some food. Go buy yourself some treats. Like you deserve it if you work hard. And also find friends and eat well.
Awesome. I couldn't have said it better myself. Last but not least, I'll pass it over to Carla for this question, then we'll do a few audience member questions with the panel as well.
Yeah, I also think it's very important to kind of understand that it's totally fine if you make mistakes along the way, and don't get don't be too strict to yourself, because again, some things they don't go as planned or they don't go as well as you wanted to, and you kind of put yourself down, being like, oh my God, I had all this figured out, or oh, I came here having all this mindset and all this plan, and somehow it didn't work. And it happened to me. I would be like really upset because if something didn't work to me, and it will kind of make me really anxious and depressed. And then I think I got to the point where I was like, you know what, like sometimes you change, life changes, decisions change. So I mean, that's totally fine. So I would say, like, don't be afraid to make mistakes along the way, because that's basically the way that you're going to learn. So don't be afraid of that.
For sure. And if those mistakes come up, there's supports, like you said, or resources that you can access to, get you past them and get you to the place that you want to be. And your journey does change. Your path is not necessarily set in stone, and you have an ability to craft it yourself. So on that note, I'm just going through the questions here. One question is from Ashi. It says, I've heard it's hard to commute if you don't have your own car. Is that true? So Yi Chen, I know that you bike quite a few places, but I would love to hear maybe your experience with commuting, and then if anyone else wants to join in, you're more than welcome to.
So in my opinion, I feel like every place you go to in Thunder Bay is pretty accessible by bus. Like for me, I go for grocery shopping or Marina Park by Lake Superior. You can go everywhere by bus. And also biking, yeah, you could do biking as well. Just remember to buy a lock.
For sure, yeah, you'll have to lock up your bike when you get to your final destination. And of
Yep.
course, if you're willing to walk around, it's still a walkable city, but it's great distances. We're a big city still, nonetheless, and same with Aurelia. Walking around is possible, but it's also a big city, so you have to commit the time. With regards to busing, so our undergraduate students are actually provided a bus pass with their tuition, and then graduate students can opt in for a heavily discounted rate. Buses actually come onto both of our campuses directly, but they're periodically, so they're spaced out, so they're not, you can't hop on a bus every 5 minutes, but you can hop on a bus maybe every half hour or maybe every hour. That then will connect you to different areas of town. So they'll typically bring you right down to the terminal, both at the waterfront in Thunder Bay or in the city center of Aurelia. They'll bring you to the terminal there, and then you might have to get on another bus to get to your final destination. Just like any other city, commuting and using the public transportation system is something that you'll have to get familiar with on your own and sort of figure out what routes are best and which routes are most timely. Eileen, do you have anything to share about Aurelia? I know you mentioned that you were there for 3 months, so you may not have had an opportunity to do too much commuting, but.
Yeah, if I want to go somewhere, there's an app for the bus, so it will show you where the bus will go, what time it will come. So that was helpful, which is important, especially during winter. You're not able to stand outside for so long. So if you check the timing on your app, and you can just stay inside, and if it's like 2 minutes away, it will show you when the bus is coming. So if it's 2 minutes away, just go to the bus station and just stand there. So that makes it easier for us to move.
Awesome. One question we had is, what games are available for students there? And so I'll share sort of games in the athletics and recreation sense, and then I can also chat a bit about clubs. So we have a wide variety of athletics and recreations available. We have varsity sports, so where you actually have to try out and then you're on a team that will compete competitively against other Ontario institutions, but other institutions in our region. So both in Minnesota in the United States, as well as Manitoba and across Canada. There's also recreational or intramural sports teams where you can do out of a passion or simply, do it casually for fun. And so it's not as competitive, which I think I would prefer personally, not necessarily having the pressure of your teammates or winning the gold or something. It's just something that, you can do for fun. There's plenty of information on our website. If you head over to lakeheadu.ca, you can explore athletics and recreations, and you can sort of see all of the programming offered. Off the top of my head, I can name quite a few, but I don't want to leave out any, so I'll just go with not naming any of them. With that being said, like Shindar mentioned, there's also plenty of clubs on campus that you can get involved in. And so those clubs are focused on both academics and programs, but also interest-based or hobby-based, or different group-based. So there's some religion-based, there's also some that are based on sort of your background or where you're coming from. Like Shindar mentioned, she's a part of AFCASA, and that's connected to the African Caribbean Association. I don't know the full acronym AFCASA, but she said it, and so I'll leave you to that. I'm just reading through a few more questions here. At this time, here's one. How can we find communities that are related to our home country? And so maybe Jennifer, since you are a first year student or just wrapping up your first year, would you be able to share sort of how you found your community, whether it was fellow Nigerian students or fellow students within your program of biology?
So for me, I couldn't really get involved with clubs very much because, again, like the whole pandemic thing. But I met Shindara and she introduced me to a bunch of people. So it was like really nice. Like she really just made me feel like part of a community in that sense. And then also like for my program, we had like a group. So basically I became friends with like a lot of people from Thunder Bay and also a lot of people from Nigeria and like Africa. And it was just really cool. Like there's different ways you can interact with people. It doesn't necessarily have to be through clubs. It could be through like your program. It could also be through like just meeting someone like maybe while you're waiting for the bus or something, because I actually met a bunch of people just waiting for the bus. So it's just like, it's different for everyone, I think.
And I think, like you said, sort of, and this goes off of many other panelists' notes, is making that one connection with one person can make the difference. And then not necessarily just being shy or reaching out or connecting with those people, they can really open up the doors to so many other relationships, friendships, opportunities. And so that's why we always encourage students, if you have that ability to sort of go out of your comfort zone and just maybe say hello for the first time or introduce yourself, can really go the extra mile. But also, I think as a group of students, I know that I was able to handpick you. I think that you also, as new students arrive on our campuses, you'll be able to welcome them and hopefully be that first point of contact for them as well. Thank you for checking out today's video. If you have any questions, you can always comment below. Stay connected and follow us on our social media channels to stay informed about upcoming webinars and get an insider sneak peek of Lakehead University. See you next time.